Hi everyone, we're down to Scorpio, and I'm going to do this one semi in the dark. So, Scorpio, I have a Scorpio rising, and there's a lot to say about Scorpio. Everybody likes Scorpio for some reason, and they're all about Scorpio energy or Pluto energy or what have you. And it is a very thick energy, a very intense energy. It's very hard, but it's also very transforming. It's very hard when you're trying to make friends and you first meet people, like when you're walking in a room. Like, say that I'm going to this group, which I have Pluto in my 11th house in Libra. Say that I'm going to this group and I walk in and everybody's just staring at me. There's going to be some people who are intrigued by my energy and some people who are repelled by my energy or think that I'm stuck up or that I'm too calm or I'm too quiet, or they're either going to like me or hate me. And I don't even understand why. It's something I've struggled with all my life, and with that energy, with social anxiety, with all that stuff. And I never really knew what it was until I got into astrology and started exploring the many different aspects and layers of who I was and comparing that to astrological energies. With Scorpio already dissects things into many different pieces like a puzzle, and to get down to the deep, to get down to an answer, and will question and question and question right along with Gemini. And they'll go deeper than Gemini. But once they go down to that deep with pulling themselves apart and messing with every little puzzle piece and getting all the junk out and the dirty or the happy or whatever, every emotional crisis or trauma or whatever you've been through, after they hold you through that, then that's where the transformation occurs, because you see that light and all that destruction, all that chaos, all that pain, all that trauma. You learn to grow, you learn to transform into the higher aspect of yourself. And that's the cool part about Scorpio, is the transformation. And always seeing a little bit of light in that darkness, no matter what it is, because the Scorpion is the survivor. And people, another thing is, when you first meet somebody, you can sense all their bullcrap right up front. If they're lying, if they're telling the truth, whatever, anything that they don't want you to know about them, you already know it. And they'll either like that about you, or they will totally hate that about you and just suddenly just try to pick a fight with you or want to beat you up, or a number of things. You just never know. But being a co-manager of an apartment complex, I've run across a lot of people with my Scorpio rising and my partner's Aries rising. And my daughter has Aquarian rising, which is also very You know, you can pick up vibes and everything with that. But the Aries rising just goes right out there and don't even think and just makes quick decisions and blah, 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 blah. You know, right out that door. And I'm like, okay, you know, this is not the right people you need to be having in here. You know, they're going to be doing this, 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 and this. And by the time it's all said and done, that's how it ended up being. That they totally sucked her in. They told her a bunch of bullcrap because she was anxious to rent a place, and tried to manipulate her into doing several different things, and then before you know it, things turn around and they're psychotic and these people have to leave. But it doesn't happen that way with every tenant. There's tenants that are just absolutely wonderful and stay for years, so. And I'm not right 100% of the time. I don't think anybody is, but the bad side about it is resentment, holding things in forever, wanting to get revenge. If you have a lot of fixed signs in your chart, or a lot of Scorpio overpowering your whole chart, then you might want to get revenge a lot. But if you have a lot of mutable or cardinal signs lightening that up a bit, then that kind of dogs down that energy once you actually get out there and are trying to do that, trying to get that revenge. You might change your mind or something. It's just in the heat of that moment when you're really upset, your Scorpio rising or whatever you have Scorpio in just wants to get back. But then if you also have like a Taurus sun or a Scorpio sun or a Leo sun, Aquarius, and a lot of fixed signs in your personal planets, way more fixed signs than cardinal or mutable, then you might carry that through. Especially if you have it in your Mars, because Mars is the anger. So Scorpio. I haven't really dealt with a lot of Scorpio people, and I don't tend to attract Scorpio people. I tend to attract the Taurus people or Virgos the most because of my Pisces sun and my ascendant in Scorpio. I have one of my cats. She's the only Scorpio I really know. And she's very, very demanding, possessive, domineering. She has to have certain things certain ways. She has to drink out of a cup. I have to fill her a cup of water and sit it on her side of my desk so she can drink out of it. And she has to have tuna every night. And if I don't give her tuna every night, or I let the other cat in here she don't like, she'll get me back by not sleeping on her pillow and sharing her time with me. So that's how that is. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. My partner came in here and she just bursts in here all the time and does that sort of thing. Anyway, to get back to Scorpio, it's a very calm energy, but you can also portray that intensity and send off that intensity to the outside world and those around you without even knowing it. I think once we learn how to control the power that we have with Pluto and Mars and then in the house that it's in, then we'll be able to transform that and be able to use it for spiritual things and for a higher purpose, because the Scorpion doesn't want to be that manipulative individual or controlling individual that they can be, because Scorpions can be that. Any place that you have that, you can want to control your environment, yourself, what have you, because that's power. You don't know how to control that intensity, that energy within you. So therefore you think it's in the physical world or what have you. So we need to moderate that, and that way we can balance our ego, not think from that ego side. Scorpion don't want the ego. Eventually they want to transform that and dissolve that ego, like the Piscean, and rise from the ashes and think from a higher perspective. And they're wise, and they've been through the bad things, and they can see. They're like a medium, a channeler, and very psychic. So sometimes they doubt theirself, and they analyze theirself, and they want to go deep and dig into their own self to the point of insanity, so they can transform everything they're in about themselves. And that usually happens, especially if you're a Scorpio rising. Your whole body could be transformed. Like you could be really big, and you could lose a lot of weight just out of nowhere. I mean, I done that. I never really cared about my weight after I had my kid. I wasn't really big, I mean, but I was like 115, 120 most of my teenage years, really skinny, because I have double Aries and double Gemini and Pisces, Mars and Cancer, and double Scorpio. So I was pretty athletic and everything, but I kept skinny and didn't really worry about what I ate. But when I became pregnant, I ate myself into oblivion and ended up weighing in 185 pounds. So after I had her, I was 145, and then somewhere throughout my life, I ended up getting up to 165, 170, and then all of a sudden when I got here, 1 year after eating like donut sticks and what was eggs, boiled eggs, all of a sudden like 10, 20, 25 pounds just went off me out of nowhere. I thought I was sick or had some disease, and I was obsessing over it. And I tried to eat back some of the weight because I thought I had like cancer or some stuff like that. But I got down to like 130. That's how much I lost over that time. But now I'm like 135. So that's like my normal weight, and I try to maintain that. But that's what can happen with that energy. That I could have been a transit for all I know, but that's what happens with it. It just, all of a sudden you're going along, something happens to your body or something happens in that house, and you're one way, and then you end up being the extreme opposite way, because Scorpios, it's all or nothing, black and white. But luckily with me, I have gray, so some of my other energies can see the middle on certain areas. And Scorpios rule the reproductive system and the genitals, but also the bladder. So you may have a lot of bladder issues, have to go to the bathroom a lot, You might have a lot of sexual problems, and if you're having sex, make sure that you're protected, because you know there's sexually transmitted diseases, and I myself would rather get pregnant than have a sexually transmitted disease. Or, you know, I've always said that I'd rather use my hand than go out and sleep with a bunch of people and get sexually transmitted disease, because on some level I think I've always known that that could happen. And I heard somewhere, I think it was on Crystal Lynn, about Scorpios and their cycle. I've always been connected to my cycle. I know right down to the minute that I'm going to start. So I don't know how, don't know why, but I've always been connected to that, or know when something's wrong, or know when anything's wrong with my body. I just don't want nobody touching my hair a certain way or doing anything with my body. I'm very, very fixed with that. So I don't know if that's something with other Scorpio risings or people with a lot of Scorpio in their chart, but I don't wear a lot of black. I like black, but I have tons of cats, so that tends to get a lot of cat fur on your black. So I've worn a lot of red, and I think that's my Venus, so purples and aquas and pinks and bright colors. I mean, I got a conjunction with Uranus too, so I'm not as dark as a lot of Scorpio risings. So, and I have Neptune in the first house. So. But I do have a quiet voice, and people want me to speak up. Personality wise, like when I get up in the morning, I have this fixed view of how my day needs to be, and I want to plan it like all the way through, and it's like an all or nothing approach. And I think that that's how it is with planning your life, because your rising sign carries your sun sign through to its mission, along with all your other things, like carrying it in the palm of your hand, basically, you know, carrying you through, driving the steering wheel per se, while trying to protect your emotions and sensitivities. And for somebody with such a sensitive sun sign, I think that the Scorpio rising helps me a lot. But I think people that are with a Scorpio need to learn to not analyze them to death. Don't ask them how they feel every single second of the day. How are you feeling? What is that expression for? Why do you look that way? I know everything about you. Well, no, you don't. Don't ask them questions. You're asking those questions because you don't know everything about me, and you want to get to know what the hell's going on in my brain. And you think I'm the fool. So if you're with somebody who has a lot of Scorpio or Scorpio risings, don't ask them a lot of questions, and don't assume that you know any part of them. Just accept them and let them be whoever they are, and just love them, and they do the same for you. You know, I mean, that's just the way it's got to be. Nobody likes to be 24 questions, especially in your sexual life or your sexual area. That's supposed to be their domain. So, you know, they like to be partially in control of that area. Unless they've got, you know, that's basically your Mars, but just let them be them, Don't try to control them. They'll figure it out. They're strong. Anyway, that's about all I got right now. If anybody else can add any more, then I'd appreciate it. Except for, you know, Scorpio eyes. Everybody is about the eyes and facial stuff. I have to get my eyebrows done all the time. And my eyes are my eyes. So, anyway, thanks for listening. And this is Scorpio Energies, Scorpio Rising. See you later. Bye-bye. Hey everyone. Casey and I are back again with Scorpio and Scorpio Rising. Scorpio. Wow. Wow. Show them your scorpion eyes. Scorpion eyes. She's a scorpion. Okay, what I wanted to say here that I forgot the other day about Scorpios or Scorpio risings. What, you got something to say? Their body is built for sturdiness, built to take on a lot of crap, built to take on a war, built to recover from that war. Casey here, my Scorpio cat, had on her second litter one night when she was during birth, when she was about ready to have her babies, she had this nasty smell coming out of her. And I thought she had been in labor for such a long time. So I'm like, telling my partner, there's something wrong. There's something wrong with her. Come to find out, when we took her, she was just inches from death. All of her babies crossed over. But I told her that I would take all of her babies home once I took all of her babies out and saved them all. I tried to save her life. I would take them all home for her. Luckily, we had another cat that had babies. So I had those babies for her, and she was looking for them, weren't you? You were looking for your babies, weren't you? You were looking for your babies, and Mommy promised you, and Mommy brought them home. Didn't she? She's ignoring me now. Yeah, anyway. She's my scorpion, and look, what she wants right there is that cup. See, I'll show you. Yeah, she knows she's being washed. This is her cup. And if you look, it really says, how about a nice tall glass of shut the F up? Yep, scorpion style. Anyway, I done forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, her babies were Aries. And that's where hamster came from. The little Aryan cat that looked like a streak of fire. Anyway. That's the body. Plus, you can have a lot of constipation problems. Casey used to eat, I know I keep on talking about my cat. I'm a cat person. But energies work on cats and dogs too. Sadie as well. She's a Scorpio dog. They both suffer from constipation, as well as myself. But when I had that problem, I would eat that Activia, and Casey would help me eat Activia. So, sinuses. You can have sinus problems. I get a lot of sinus issues, sinus headaches, migraines, and it can be genetic. Pluto issues are genetic, so. The lights and noise bug me, so I wear sunglasses to prevent headaches. And I like sunglasses anyway, so people don't see my eyes all the time or know that I'm looking at them or what have you. Let me see. Oh yeah, we're good at putting on a poker face. That way people don't really know our emotions or how we really feel. So we can put on that Scorpion poker face. It's like we are flat. Or we could have the flat effect and just no emotions, just like a blank face. And into psychology or behaviorism, wanting to pry apart all the different areas of the psyche. So, do you have anything else to add, Cassandra, besides your possessiveness? She don't have anything else to add. Look at her. She has grown, and her too. She had went from very skinny. Her body wise, she went from very skinny to very big. One time she had lost all of her fur, had patches on it, and then another time it just grew all back fluffy wise. There's the Libra cat. Josefina, I don't know if you can see her because I cannot see anything myself. Anyway, also Scorpions, it's like they want you to have your actions speak louder than your words, and mean what you say and say what you mean. Basically, don't screw around with it. You know. And Pluto's transits could be very difficult. That's another thing, though. I just realized I had Pluto transiting in my 3rd house of Capricorn. And a lot of people don't realize, they look at their sun sign all the times for transits. It's their rising sign they need to look at, because that's how their houses fall. So, Scorpio is all about karma and cycles and death and rebirth. They know that that's ultimately going to happen, and life is going to recycle again. And if you do anything to somebody, it's going to come back to you. And if it don't come back right now in this life, it's going to come back the next life. In other words, if you kill somebody, in the next life you might be killed. So tread wisely and choose your path wisely. And try to be that higher octave of that Scorpion, or that energy. And I think it's a really good energy. It's hard, it's intense, but what is reward and transformation without any of that? The Scorpion knows. So just let them be. You let them be, they'll let you be. And of course they want to know you. That's the nature of their being. And by letting them know you and open you up and dissect you, they'll allow you to be you. Whatever energy that is. It's mutuality. Be raw, be real, don't be fake. Anyway, that's it. See you later. Bye-bye.